I thought the Jews and the Jews won. I thought the Jews and the Jews won.
It's good to be back.
Susan Wojcicki is fucking dead. She died of cancer.
I beat the Jews. Not everyone can say the same. And this event I'm going to be covering right now is one of those instances when the Jews just can't stop winning. What can I say? We are the chosen people. The Based Game Awards is an event I had no idea was happening, had no idea existed, but was enamoured by, because I was told the host was called a BBC-loving Jew by the end of it. Also, it confirms my bias of mentioning someone and some fucky shit happening. I believe I am solely responsible for raising this bitch from the dead.
I have no dad.
And putting this bitch in the ground. Now, the premise of the real Game Award show, hosted by Internet Who's, sounds gay as fuck, but the aftermath sounds like pure kino. So in the spirit of fairness, I thought I would review the alleged based game show, until it's not because they have to pander to trannies and gays on Twitter. Then it's not based. Look, the show is not anti-woke, but if it was, that's a good thing. It's definitely not anti-woke. Don't look at any of the people they invited. Don't look at any of the politics. Don't look at anything they stand for. Don't look at how they're all just anti-woke people. It's not an anti-woke show. Don't mind the fact they gave 17 awards to the anti-woke game. It's not. Say it with me now. It's not the anti-woke show, because having convictions and believing what you say is gay. Oh shit, we invited the faggot. But we're getting a little off topic, don't worry about that. We only say it's not the based show when we can score points on Twitter. So how based is our base show? Is it in fact cringe? Did they say nigger? Probably not. But I'm not doing a live review again, because that shit was torture. And this shit is dull as fuck. It is some bargain bin dog shit. It's just retards talking in the rooms while PNGs pop up. There is more production value in this video. At least with the real Game Awards, I could look at the crowd, get lost in this bitch's funny hair, laugh at the people actively leaving as the show goes on, and want to kill myself while the Hollywood elite chinks wiggle to Snoop Dogg. What the fuck am I doing here? I don't belong here. This bit of the wall's pretty interesting. So first improvement, this shit, cringe. Scrap the VTuber Goyslop. Put this bitch in the rainforest. I want to see her fighting for survival while presenting this shit. I want the thrill of potentially seeing a live death. The horse dying mid-broadcast? Now that's fucking based. Anyway, back to this mid shit. The first thing you can notice is the 40k views. Now here is the big issue. You want to call yourself the real Game Awards. That shit doesn't work when you get completely mogged not only by the actual real Game Awards, but by a shitpost. Not even half the subscriber base of the channel watched this shit. Yet I'm meant to believe this is the real one for the fans? It's not even for your fans, nigga. Now it starts off hot with a decent animation. However, they forgot the sound design to the point where they didn't even think to add a clapping sound to the nigger clapping. The actual sound effects that are there are just generic shit a 40-year-old out-of-touch man would use to showcase he is such a heckin' gamer. Mario jump sound effect, the seal sound effect I've somehow heard 1,000 times, and get over here. Wow, buddy. You aren't 20 years in the past. But don't worry, it ends with Duke Nukem.
Screw that Hollywood bullshit. This is for the fans.
I wasn't alive, and you probably weren't, for the last real Duke Nukem game. If you were born in the same year as the last real Duke Nukem game, you would be facing down the barrel of 30. And that is if you are born when the last one released. So this award show for 2024 games is definitely in touch, and isn't unironically giving ammo for the retarded modern audience's talking point. But the show hasn't really started yet, so enquala, I made up that word. Let's unveil the curtains. It starts and you can see why it isn't up to date. But you can be old, that's fine. You know, you're just inferior with every year that goes by, and I think, you know, probably 40, you should probably be executed by the government, but it's okay. You can be old. What isn't okay is starting an award show based entirely on talking ability and personality with a guy with stuttering in his name. You nickname this guy based on his inability to speak and then had him open an award show. But I'm sure he has world-bending charisma.
Tell you exactly what it is and what you will and won't see on tonight's show. You will not see a 4-hour show with 3 of those hours being trailers that would have been paid for to be on here. You will see several indie devs who you suggested that we wanted to feature for free. You won't see a giant...
Oh, sorry. No. Oh. Did I play that for too long? I fell asleep for a moment. But he points out the idiocy of having an award show based on reviewers voting and not the general populace.
Did you know that at Jeff Keighley's award show, 90% of the vote, 90%, goes to media outlets? That means only 10% of the vote goes to you. They don't even think you should have a vote. See? Hell yes, we're gonna gatekeep, which is why it costs $30 a year to become a voting member.
By any chance, is this woman Jewish?
I don't agree with either of these voting systems. I think it should be voted on by the critics because they are critics. They, hypothetically, have more experience and knowledge about games, and if you give the vote entirely to the general public, it just becomes a popularity contest, instead of games winning based on merit and actual quality. However, we don't live in the world of those hypothetical critics, and the current critics we have are retarded, and it's just a popularity contest anyway. So this is the least retarded option of the 2 retarded options. There is also a clear problem in a YouTuber award show having the audience vote for games, because the audience is innately biased by the presenter's coverage. It's why Jeff Keighley isn't a reviewer, but whatever, take it away, Phil.
Circle jerk.
What the fuck did you just say to me? Here we get to the main issue. Yeah, it's a popularity contest. I don't know how the fuck Unicorn Overlord made it, but I too love the great story of the butchered second third of a game that came out 26 years ago. You can give the vote to the people.
But the people are retarded.
Wow, would you look at that? The rankings match the popularity. Weird. If only someone could have predicted that. But Game Science won, so let's see them accept the award. Let's see what award they gave them.
Black Myth Wukong. Hey, congrats, Game Science.
Brother, you couldn't do anything? This guy just says good job. Not even a graphic, a letter, fucking something? But we've abandoned John. We are getting a new presenter every award, something I'm happy about. Because I have no material for this bitch. She isn't a complete retard and she's using a VTuber model, so I don't have much to work with. Others, on the other hand.
And I learned that these people that chose to come.
So who's next? Whoa, buddy! There she blows! Look at the size of the lad! Why is his hair fleeing his scalp? His hair's running more than him! But he studied the blade. Don't fuck with this guy. His trusty fedora gives him a plus 14 to defense. But only when he doesn't have the minus 88 attack debuff from gooning to feet. He also can't talk for shit.
You might have forgotten what the MMO acronym actually stands for after all these years.
Number 40. The amount of times my mother raped me. He hosts the best MMO, the only one that could win. Does. Big shock. Best racing game, who is hosting? We've got the coke fiend on the prowl when he's not crying about having no friends at 30. He's selling his few friends under the bridge by outing them as hiring prostitutes.
Yeah, he pulled me to the side at like 6 a.m. one time, was like, "You gonna hit these hookers?" And I'm like, "No, I'm going to go to bed, Nick." And he's like, "All right, well, I'll see you later."
But he's a professional race car driver. Just don't watch any of his races. Also, don't look at him, because if you know the slightest thing about race car drivers, you'd know they aim for low body weight, and this guy can't stop pumping those roids, balls shrinking faster than his hairline. But that hat is definitely covering it. Also, White Monster, he's gay! But I don't think I needed to tell you that. You have eyes. He immediately states the only thing he gives a shit about are graphics.
Usually I would say something about stunning graphics, but none of your nominees are really known for graphic powerhouses.
The Real Game Awards! He doesn't provide any other insight besides that he would talk about graphics, but these all look like shit. And brother, is this a killer lineup? Genuinely, please fucking kill me. I don't want to see this shit anymore. Now, who do you think they gave this award to? The actual racing game? The actual racing game? Or the shitty PSX Bloodborne Mario Kart that some tranny who hates them made, instead of making the thing people actually wanted? Now, it wouldn't be a based award show without secretly wanting to fuck a real woman. The greats have all done it. Sargon, Herrera, Trump. You can't convince me Luma is a woman. And now Kumalot. I told you he was gay, and there is nothing more based than sucking tranny cock. It's in Mein Kampf, I've read it, the part where Hitler talks about sucking girl penis. Oh, he loved it. But did the creator of the game respond? Yes. He shit on them. It doesn't really help the whole real Game Awards gimmick when a winner actively dunks on you for giving them an award. Not only that, but the last time I saw the tweet, it had about 900k views. The tweet got exponentially more views shitting on you than your award show got. I saw some people trying to co-op. The guy who hosted it even tried to co-op. There is no co-op. You gave him an award and he spat in your face. That's the type of anal destruction only a real man can bring. Now we waddle on down to biggest cash grab. It's hosted by this guy, who I'm told is charismatic. So they must have beaten it out of him. Buddy, blink twice if you were forced to be here. I don't know what that means. You're on your own. Again, popularity contest. None of these are even close to the biggest cash grabs. The entire mobile game market exists. Koei Tecmo exists, Paradox exists. Fuck, where's Dragon's Dogma? These fuckers making a shitty remake doesn't scratch the top 10 of cash grabs. I know you think it's shit, I think it's shit, but it isn't the biggest cash grab. But apparently I'm a dumb fuck. He's back! Stuttering man, I've missed you so. He's clearly got a brainworm, charisma black hole, but just a lovable little guy. He's here to tell us about the best sports game. He's presenting the Sports Award, but doesn't know the game up for the award.
Harry Potter Quidditch. What? Okay, sounds good. The Real Game Award for Best Sports Game goes to...
Imagine if Neil got on the stage, Best RPG, The Witcher 3, Atelier Maruru, Epic Battle Fantasy 4. What the fuck is that? The game released in 2015 won. They decide to promote indie games. This can only go well, but I don't give a shit. Fuck indie devs, they haven't done shit for me, and to be honest, they just make slop now as well. It's the star of the show, the built for BBC Jew girl. So what does female Milo do? She presents the Husbando of the Year award. After a Google search and severe brain damage, I learned this means husband material. The husbands in question are Yakuza member, leader of a terrorist organisation, murder-hungry psycho, and Yakuza member again. Also, Broly isn't a video game character. I expect my fake joke award category on my bargain bin award show to stay in line with the rules. Also, this bitch is in the clock dimension. What the fuck is happening, buddy? Blink twice if you need help. I've come to the conclusion she is mentally retarded, therefore unable to blink. Unlike these awards, I follow my rules and no help will be administered. The Negro won, Kirshi died, she did it for free. That's rough. Since you can't be heckin' based without a quality, we have Waifu of the Year. I don't need to search what that means. It is Asian high schooler. Your based award show, sir. Asian wins. This heckin' epic gamer presenting this one is overjoyed. Why? She played that game twice.
I'm so glad that Eve won. Oh my gosh, I played that game even twice.
I too love playing a game twice. Baldur's Gate, love that shit. Never got off the ship, only played it twice, got stuck in the second room, but I did play it twice. I know it's anal, but love? You had about 5 lines for your big award show. Beat. The word you are looking for is beat. Like this guy beats his girlfriend. Oh wait, shit, that's Razor. Got him confused with the other 30-year-old man trying to be 13. Razor doesn't beat women. He grooms them. Much more respectable. Also, it would be a shame if he was going on a retarded, ultra-Christian, no-boob-it-in-games grift right after the Gooner Awards and this thing presenting. That would be a real bad look for your new grift, buddy. But to his credit, he's the only retard with any amount of charisma so far. Maybe barring the female Milo who horny posted through her presentation, he's presenting best FPS. I wonder what could win. Wow, who could have seen this coming? But I skipped someone. I thought it would be funnier to jump into the anti-Gooner man after the Gooner segment. Unfortunately for this very clearly cool dude, who isn't a middle-aged man desperate for validation on the internet, most people probably skip him, because he is so mind-numbingly boring. I don't have anything to say about him. Here is him talking, think of something yourself.
Third-person shooters combine strategic gameplay with immersive action. The nominees for Best Third-Person Shooter brought us precision, teamwork, and thrills from over-the-shoulder perspectives in 2024. And your nominees for Best Third-Person Shooter are...
Buddy, enlarge the script. I assume you just can't see it too well. That happens with age. But maybe he does just have a second grade reading level. Oh no. What's that? Is that the Gooner game Razor is going on a retarded jihad against? Right before Razor presents? Anyway, Space Marine won. Who is shocked? EDF lost to a shitty free-to-play Gooner bait game. The charismatic Nigma plugs his shitty YouTube channel.
The Warhammer developers said they wanted to make a fun game and deserved to win this award. For more gaming content, please check out my personal YouTube channel, Alec Baldwin's Finger.
I would pull it up to make fun of it, but I was fighting off the coma this fucker was putting me in, so I didn't catch it. Randy's back presenting the best company, From Software 1. But what I do love is Shift Up is on the list and got third, barely being beaten. Here is Shift Up's entire body of work. But fear not, Team Asobi beat them. Here is their entire body of work. So they got second place in being the best company because they made Astrobot. It would be a shame if you had someone shit on Astrobot literally one segment before this.
And the real game award for Best FPS goes to... for the 1000th time, Astrobot! Oh, I'm sorry, wrong game awards.
Absolute fucking circus. William pulls double duty. They highlight the shitty production because that is endearing and doesn't make you look like a bunch of trailer trash bums. And Sparking Zero wins Best Fighting Game, against the game that was earlier nominated for a negative award. How are you this retarded? Now, I wasn't going to talk about the indie game adverts, but this one is special. The devs came out and told them to fuck off, stating they would rather sell less than be attached to this shit show. That is easily the most based thing I've seen on the entire show. Also, it's definitely not conservative grifters, they're not anti-woke, which is exactly why they're all ganging up on this guy, who simply just said he doesn't want to be involved in either side. They somehow got Marty O'Donnell to show up. I don't know, maybe he's fallen on hard times and they offered him some black tar crack. But he has better speaking ability and more charisma than everyone else barring the groomer and the groomed. He presents best multiplayer experience. It's Helldivers. The number comes up well before he even says who won.
Best multiplayer experience goes to, with 52% of your vote, Helldivers 2.
I can run this shit better than them. In fact, I am now going to do it with the resources they have given me.
Best multiplayer experience goes to, with 52% of your vote, Helldivers 2. So.
Wow, that was really hard. I had to separate the audio and the video, and then freeze the video for a couple of seconds. That was a whole 2 edits. That's fucking insane. You know what? I'll do a bit more. You see Fortnite? Nigger! Also, just want to know, Helldivers 2 and Space Marines 2 were both up for third-person shooter, and Space Marines won. But now Helldivers has beaten Space Marines for best online game. Now this can result from 2 extremes. The Vooters are incredibly refined critics who can separate the third-person shooter aspects from the multiplayer aspects, and decipher that Space Marines is a mechanically better third-person shooter. However, Helldivers is a more robust multiplayer experience. Or they are just fucking retarded. Considering the show that they are watching, and the numerous grifts colliding and contradicting each other, I think it's the latter. That means the last option I gave if you're a fan of the awards. Now we have this guy. He's trying, I like him. He rambled for 20 minutes about nothing, fucking cut it shorter lad, but he isn't boring as sin like others. He presents a worst bait and switch. You know, like that no censorship game that was marketed on being filled with titties and blood and never being censored, that immediately censored itself on release, creating an easy as fuck lawsuit you would be guaranteed to win if any of you faggots would actually do anything instead of just complaining. No, it's Concord. How the fuck is Concord a bait and switch? You fuckers were bitching about it when it wasn't even released. You were bitching about the trailers. How is that a bait and switch? How are any of these outside of Helldivers? You have confused a thing I don't like with deception. Obviously the grifter bait wins because people don't like it. How did it bait and switch? Is he going to explain? Shut up. He does a fake edgy joke that they immediately cut from.
Congratulations to Dragon Age the Veilguard for s***ing more dick than Alyssa Mercant.
Alyssa Mercant sucks dick. Oh my god, I'm going to be banned. I've actually been banned. Recently. You don't get banned for saying that limp-wristed gay shit. Next presenter is... Oh, buddy. You shouldn't be here. The shelter's down the road. These are the eyes of a soldier who's seen death. He's watched as his best friend was turned into pulp right in front of him. Can you just not look like shit? I know it's vain. I am vain. I want someone who isn't going grey, who isn't severely balding, and who actually sleeps and doesn't bang out the drugs every day. He presents Best RPG. Metaphor wins. Why wasn't it on Best Story when the story is the main part of an RPG? And two fuckers it just beat were nominated for story? Because it's the people's choice. Next we have another VTuber, this time stuck in a Game Boy. I assume he hid in it after trying to use the death of Miura, the day he died, to dunk on Western comic book creators. Because they should overwork themselves to death as well. I for one am very happy my favourite media will never have an ending because the creator was worked to death. I am also very happy that Obvious Pick won Best Action Game so I can move on. But just another for the road. Look at this incredible sync.
And the Real Game Award for Best Action Game goes to, with 34% of your vote, Stellar Blade.
Good job. Martin is back. I've grown to love this man. A warm, familial comfort envelops my heart when I lay eyes upon him. I would fuck him. He presents the best value game, a £55 game. I'm not drip feeding pounds to you Amerimuts. Just know that pounds are worth more than your pauper currency. Free game, I'm not sure how you quantify the value of. It doesn't cost anything. Another free game, again, how the fuck are we judging the value of something free? And unfinished game, we have no way of judging the value of because it isn't finished. The unfinished game won. And I would like to present this award with my own special, dumbest fucking category I have ever seen award. Look, I grabbed a JPEG. Unironically more effort than you put in.
Let's play an NES game.
I'd neck. If I reached such peaks of collaborating with Doug Walker on pure Kino, and now have sullied myself with this shit, I'd never face the sun again. No, I've never watched The Angry Video Game Nerd, but this shit is just sad. It's like when Ric Flair decides to wrestle again, but somehow worse because at least Ric Flair is ploughing some burly legal wench afterwards. This nigger ain't getting any. It turns out he doesn't even present anything. He just shows up and shills his shitty game. Good for him? That's pretty cool. Shame you chose this shit show to advertise it, but good for you, bud. Next is a fat man they didn't give a mic to.
Experience be part of a game's development journey, with some of the best experiences being that of a full game well before launch.
Best Early Access Game. If this is an award show for gamers, should not be a category. Early Access games are innately anti-consumer, they are fucking awful and they are a blight on the industry, but whatever. It goes to the game that already won an award. In the last segment, you couldn't have spaced it out. You gave it as much spacing as this guy's eyes when you should have given it the spacing of his forehead. He calls Palworld a unique game.
Palworld especially, because they're such a unique game.
You know, the game that everyone describes as Pokemon with guns? The game that's currently in a legal battle for being so unoriginal? Words have meaning. I love Palworld. It isn't unique. An accurate description is it's just Orc with Pokemon slapped on, which even moving it from the Pokemon with gun shit somehow makes it less original. He then claims Palworld is a better Pokemon game than modern Pokemon games.
And that they're trying to usurp Nintendo at their own game, so to speak. And really, they've kind of done it a little bit better.
You know that game that is a completely different genre? It's weird how none of these presenters have gone into any specifics, and the second they even come within a country mile of base level details, they seem to fall on their ass. We now have Archcast, who puts on a fake posh voice that is insufferable. I'm not playing a second of it. They somehow found a man more up his own ass than Sargon. He presents the industry's biggest failure. What could it be? Next we have Smash JT, presenting Best Games Journalist. I have no idea who the fuck any of these people are, which would mean I have nothing to say. But maybe you are a noticer. That's the VTuber that was just on this show, presenting an award. I retract my dumbest fucking award. I would like to give it to this one. Also, they used her old model. She was just on the show. You had time, you could have just screenshotted a frame and slapped it on. Like I have just done. Anyway, a bit obvious who's gonna win now, so let's just cut. She lost. She didn't even get second. I would be furious. I'd be throwing shit. She did this shit for free. She got called a BBC Jew whore for this shit, and she couldn't even get one fake award? Kirsche, I think you know this guy. Maybe you don't. I don't know. I assume all you VTuber pedophiles know each other. I lied to him about giving him $20. I will take his promised $20 and give it to you. You got fucking owned. Peter is hitting that crip walk in the Snoop Dogg skin on you. Now this has been very jokey, because I think that's the correct response to this shit show. But this is genuinely appalling. The complete conflict of interest in having one of the nominees presenting an earlier award, while the other three are nowhere to be found, is bad enough on its own if you ever want to not be a complete joke. But the level of disrespect to use the old model of someone you just had on your show is criminal. It's one Google search away. In fact, if you just search Kirsche, you get an alcoholic beverage in undecipherable moon runes. But if you tack on VTuber, you get a really blurry YouTube logo. But if you go down, you get a wrong model and a docs that I can with 100% confidence say is not accurate. But now if you throw the shitty Brave browser in the trash where it belongs and use a real one, you get berries. But if you add VTuber again, it's the first result. That's why they used it. How are you this fucking lazy? I mean, her model is right there. Now we have a guy who can barely speak.
And the most out-of-touch journalist that we have in this industry.
He presents the worst games journalist. And would you believe, the one they biased you to be against earlier won the real Game Awards. I love you, man. They now have a Best Nintendo IP. Now question, if Nintendo is so great, they get their own award, why weren't they on the vote for Best Company? Anyway, Zelda 1, this video is too fucking long and the end is near, it couldn't come sooner. Microsoft has its own award again. Why wasn't it on the earlier category then? Doom won. Now the fun one. Best PlayStation IP. Stellar Blade won. Not only that, the nominees are God of War. Okay, that's one of the best choices. If you're getting 4, that's a good one. You did good. Astrobot, Stellar Blade, 1 game, and Helldivers 2, 2 games. This is for best IP. This is not a singular game. Do I have to explain to these incredible, epic heckin' gamers that know so much what an IP is? It stands for intellectual property. It does not stand for that one video game you like. Killzone, Infamous, Sly Cooper, Ape Escape, Jak and Daxter, Little Big Planet, Ratchet and Clank, Shadow of the Colossus, Twisted Metal, Uncharted, Knack. No, Shadow of the Colossus would make sense. It's been 20 years. That game has stood the test of time. People remember it. Who the fuck is remembering Kuma Dark Souls ripoff in 20 years? No one. Because we already had one of those. They then advertise a game featuring Chris Ray-Gun. Now, I'm not too up to date on his latest grift, but last time I checked, he hated you fuckers. I don't know, maybe he's changed, now he got beat up by a darkie and set down on his racism arc. But tough shit for him, I'm the leader of the white supremacist movement. He's gotta get verified by me, and I have a height requirement. Now we see the winner of the Journalism Award. Got it. Woman, simps, cool. She isn't gonna fuck you. And I guarantee, it's a grift that depends on lonely, unattractive men. She is presenting the Best Jiggle Physics Award. So I'm right. Stellar Blade won. Also, she's flat. This bitch has an ironing board physique. No milk. The guy that I feel bad for presents the worst game. They call it the shitty ass game of the year. It was Duskborn. Mbappe is back, mentions that people didn't vote card games for Game of the Year. I'm not sure if that's meant to be a jab or if people actually weren't allowed to vote for them.
And here we are, voting members, your Game of the Year. You suggested games of all sizes and genres, except card games. Sorry, Velotro.
But it's fine, card games, they aren't a genre. You couldn't have fit in one more category on your half-an-hour dumpster fire. Couldn't have removed the Nepotism Award for an actual game award on this Game Award show? That would be insane! The Game of the Year was Black Myth Wukong. Who could have guessed? The game they all got on their hands and knees for to deep throat won. There was no fanfare. They didn't do anything. It just ended. Overall, this was fucking miserable. You put no effort in. Most people just lazily read off a script with no inflection in their voice or passion in their work. I learned nothing about the game Sean. You didn't go into any details, you didn't go into any specifics. If the genre wasn't in the award, I don't know what fucking genre they are. And you didn't show a second of gameplay of a single game. No one on the panel seemed to be able to go into any sort of detail, barring the one who got the most shit, and she was going into detail about how much she wanted to fuck a black man. The premise is fucking stupid, the execution is fucking dire, and you decided to be hostile and prove you are better than someone, but you don't believe it. You didn't try. And I don't know if that's because you are genuinely talentless, or you were scared of failure so just phoned it in. But if you want to claim to be the real Game Awards, you don't need big production and big time celebrities. You need passion, you need effort, and you need to be entertaining. And no one did that except the one that got fucked over. I did feel bad for the organisers. Then I noticed you need to pay $30 to even vote. So go fuck yourself. The award of the people, now give me $30? And you didn't pay the people who showed up, you money grubbing